Welcome, welcome.
Hello and happy May Day.
1st May.
May 1st. All right, let's see what we have going on today in the Daily Stoic.
The International Day of Work.
Is it really?
I think so. Yeah, May 1st.
Okay.
That's it.
May Day.
It's work.
Oh, hello. We are now officially at part 2 of the book, which is called The Discipline of Action.
Discipline
So
of action.
did we spent 4 months, I guess, in part 1. Okay, part 1 is the discipline of perception. So January, February, March, April, and April's month was unbiased thought. So now I suspect we're going into 4 months of the discipline of action. So while we just spent 4 months talking about how to think differently about things, now we're going to talk for 4 months about how to do things differently. And May is called right action. Right action.
Okay, cool. So that's like the theme for May. Okay. Right action.
Right action. Okay, May 1st is titled Make Character Your Loudest Statement. So character means who I am, the version of myself that I bring to the world. Is that how you understand it too?
Yeah, kind of. Like characters are the untangible things of who we are, or something, maybe, or something like that.
Okay.
Like it's like I always, when I hear character, I split it into those two categories of character and competence.
Okay.
And so the competence is like, okay, that's like what do you know how to do? And then the character is like, yeah, like how do you approach who you are? Like how do you take things? It's like more of these, like the like a characteristics of like a character of you or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like the
That's
qualities and of who you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, we have a quote today from somebody named Musonius Rufus.
Okay, cool.
And this is also from something, it's like called out the way that they call out Epictetus's quotes, where it's from a lecture series and then like a portion of a lecture series. Okay? I need to look up who this person is, Musonius Rufus. The quote is, "For philosophy doesn't consist in outward display, but in taking heed to what is needed and being mindful of it." Shall we break it down?
Let's do it.
For philosophy doesn't consist in outward display, meaning it's not something that I show, it's not a performance that I...
Or even talking about it like, oh, based on philosophy, this and this is the right course of action here, right? Like you kind of...
You mean in the presence of others?
Yeah, you're like kind of like bringing in the knowledge that you know it from some philosophy or something like that, versus just like, hey, maybe we should do this.
Yeah, so in other words, like it's also, it's not something really even to be talked about.
Yeah.
Like we talk about it for the purpose of the next part of the quote, which is taking heed to what is needed. Taking heed to what is needed. This is what's blowing my mind up right now because I don't really know what he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Taking heed to what is needed. So taking heed means paying attention to. Paying attention to.
Heeding of.
My advice or whatever from The Office. Yeah, that quote. But okay, so taking heed. He heeded my advice, yes. Okay, so taking heed to what is needed. I think the what is needed part of this quote is the part that I'm the most stuck on. Because what is what is needed? mean? Paying attention to what is needed.
I mean, to your needs, maybe. Could that be that?
Like what does my bodily system need?
Yeah, or just all like your hierarchical pyramid of needs, if you will, you know, and like thinking through what is needed versus what is wanted, maybe, or something like that.
Okay. I could also see needed being something to the effect of a situation I'm in requires me to show up in a certain way. And so I should pay attention to the way in which I'm being called to show up.
Which
That's a
which
little
might be
loose.
what is needed, right? Like
That's
for you
what
to
you
be,
mean like a personal need? Or like,
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying
like-
like that's what I think, that's
Yeah, yeah.
another thing I think he means by what is needed potentially.
like showing up in certain way, because that way of how you're showing up is needed for that scenario or
Right.
for that situation. Yeah.
Right. And he ends up the whole quote with, and being mindful of it. So like paying attention to what is needed, either my personal needs or the needs of a situation, and then being mindful of it, almost to say like, make them more important than what is not needed. Let's see.
Yeah.
You ready for Ryan?
Let's do it.
Okay. Ryan has a very short section for us today. He says, the monk dresses in his robes. A priest puts on his collar. A banker wears an expensive suit and carries a briefcase. A Stoic has no uniform and resembles no stereotype. They are not identifiable by look or by sight or by sound. The only way to recognize them, by their character.
Yeah, like Stoicism is not like it doesn't have a uniform associated with it or something, you know?
Yeah, that's what he says here too. A Stoic has no uniform and resembles no stereotype.
Yeah.
Okay.
Therefore, you don't have to talk about it, because you talking about it is you putting on some sort of a uniform that doesn't actually exist or something, you know, or something. Like that's a good lesson for me from this. Like talk less about it and act more based on it. And this whole month is going to be about act. Was it act right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, yeah, I see how that's connected to this, like taking the action item from this to like don't talk about it, but do it or something, you know.
Be the change.
Be the change you
wish to see in the world.
to be, something.
Be the change you wish to see in the world.
It's in the world. Yes. Cool.
Nice.
Anything else for
Short,
this
sweet, brief. I'm feeling good.
one? Beautiful. Awesome.
Tell us at home how you're feeling about this. And we're excited to explore this month with you. See you tomorrow.